I mean, there are so many distractions right now, and it's hard to focus on your priorities. But I think it's very important. It's very important to keep your goals in mind, and also be honest with yourself.
What's up, Stringr fam? Thank you for joining me for the first ever podcast series for Stringr. I am your host, Anya, and today I will be interviewing Artem Stafeev, the founder of Stringr. Tune in and get to know Artem as we explore different topics in the startup community and tech space. Hope you enjoy. Thank you for listening. So could you really quickly tell us and like the me and the viewers just a quick background of your story of where you come from, how you got involved with technology?
Right, right. So my primary background is technology. I've been working with a startup called Honey. It's an e-commerce company located in Los Angeles. Me and my friends, we got together, and we're all passionate about sports, specifically tennis. And as a tennis player, I've been always looking forward to apply technology towards sports industry. So we decided to come together and found this company, Stringr, which is an online marketplace to connect tennis players with local stringers. And as a tennis player myself, it's been always painful for me to get my rackets done. So over time, I realized that there could be a business opportunity here. So me and my friends, we decided to get together and create this awesome company. But I think really big picture here is I think there are so many opportunities to apply technology in so many domains, sports, arts, other fields, and I think that in the upcoming years there will be more and more opportunities like that, and I'm definitely excited to be part of the journey and being able to really use my skills to make our life a little bit better.
Awesome. And could you really quickly talk about the app, break it down? How does it work?
Yeah, sure. Think of this as an Uber for tennis stringing. And for the context, tennis players, we break strings on our rackets. So usually it could be on average, I would say once every couple of months, players usually break strings on their rackets. And so, in order to fix it, we have to go to local pro shops. We have to get in touch with local stringers. So it always creates some sort of inconvenience to get this kind of service. So what we did, we came up with a platform to connect you with local stringers, and I think it's especially relevant in the current time that we live in, where everything is delivered. You can get any kind of services you want. I also think it's good for the community as well. I think it's good for stringers because it's a way for them to find new customers. It's a way for them to connect with their user base. So really, it is a platform to connect with stringers. That's how we see it right now, and it works just like Uber. So imagine on Uber, you can request a driver to come to your location. On our app, you can request Stringer to come pick up your rackets, and then they will do the stringing, and then they will deliver those rackets back to you. So this is a high level idea, and in the upcoming months, we plan to add more and more features, more and more functionality to this app. So please stay tuned. I think in the future, what we want to do with this app, we want to add an ability for you to buy strings from us or buy tennis rackets from us. So let's say your racket is currently being a restaurant, and you can try out a new racket from us, and then you can later buy it. So I think really there's tremendous opportunity to apply technology to tennis and to sports in general.
Um, awesome. What is your favorite thing about technology? What is it that pulls you towards technology and using that kind of tool for people?
I think it's really making our lives a little bit better, and I think this is the main purpose of technology, not just technology for the sake of doing technology. And I think nowadays a lot of people do this just for the sake of doing. People like to throw this buzzwords, AI, machine learning, robotics, but I think it's really about making our lives better, and um, whether there is a foundational technology like, I don't know, blockchain or AI. For the end user, they don't really care about this. All they care about is the result, and the result is a convenience, saving money, saving time. And for me, it really what matters the most. Basically, applying technology and making our lives a little bit more interesting, a little bit easier. So I think this is the main purpose.
Awesome. And where could people access this particular service? Is there like one part of the United States? What city? What town?
So we currently operate in Los Angeles area just because we are located here. But in the upcoming months, we plan to expand our geographics into places like the Bay Area, for example, Florida, Nevada, Arizona, New York. Those places are very big on tennis, among others. And I think it'll be a good way for us to go to other places as well, potentially in Europe, because the demand for this service is quite interesting. And interestingly enough, just a couple of months ago, I received an email from somebody located in Spain, and they were wondering about our service, whether or not we're operating in Europe. So I think there is a good opportunity for us to expand into those geographics as well.
Awesome. Who is currently on your team?
So it's me, my friend Matt, my friend Yofi, you, and David. So it's a small team, but I think there's going to be good opportunity for us to expand as well in the future. And I think as a startup, obviously, everybody on our team, we tend to wear multiple hats at the same time. For example, right now, I'm focused on marketing, and I'm also focused on technology stuff. So being in the startup really opens up a lot of doors for you in terms of the things that you could work on. Or even in your case, like, for instance, you were interested in the design at the beginning, and now we're trying to experiment with this podcast thing. And I think it's all about the experimentation and try and error, because only those people who don't really do anything, they don't make any mistakes. But if you try to do something, you will encounter those mistakes, those errors. But I feel like it's a necessary part of the process.
Yes. So you mentioned something really interesting about how like in startups you get to wear a lot of hats in that sector. So is that, would you say, like the number one reason that you gravitate towards startup is just having that open space to just really experiment?
I think so. I think so. That's a really good point, because I personally like to work on multiple things, and I'm interested in multiple domains. Because, see, that's the thing. A lot of people they prefer to work on like specific tasks, and that's totally fine. That's okay. They want to be focused on like a specific thing. But for me, I'd like to have a focus on like different things across the board, and I think that's really what interests me. In like more established company and more established setting, you have a specific specialization, so you focus on one thing at a time, and this is like very important in when it comes to, for example, building a rocket ship. Like, you have to be focused on like this one specific detail. You have to make sure it works 100% perfectly 100% of the time. Versus in startups, it's very important to be flexible, to be open-minded, and to try to work on multiple things and see what things are working for you and for your company.
Yeah, that's true. What would you say is like the biggest challenge in starting, like being in a part of starting a startup company and running a startup company such as Stringr?
So it's a really good question, because up until when I started Stringr, I did not actually realize how difficult it is. I mean, just aside from building the technology for this, just think about how you gonna get your first customers, how you gonna promote your product, like how you gonna provide user experience, how do you go about designing this thing. So those things are extremely important. And before starting this company, I just used to think about how to build it in terms of like technology. So technology was always like my main focus. So I was like, okay, well, we need to come up with a mobile app, we need to come up with a website. But then what it comes down to, whether people are buying your product or not. And in order to achieve these goals, there are so many different components, like design, marketing, and right now we're trying to do more marketing. And I think this thing that we're doing right now is obviously a part of it. But there's so much more to it. It's like so many efforts, so many different layers. And I encourage everybody who's trying to launch their company to basically not give up, and try to build a product that people would use, and try to find your first customers, try to get some feedback as soon as you can. This is really the most important thing, getting feedback from your customers and like iterating
Mm-hmm.
based on that. Because at the end of the day, you're building something for people, and they're going to be your end users, and then they're going to be final judges of your product. So try to seek feedback from those people, and try to share this feedback with your team, and improve based on that. So I think this is very very important. So try to iterate fast, and build on top of that foundation.
That's beautiful. What is the end goal for Stringer? Like, what is the ultimate vision?
I think our mission is to bring technology to sports in a broader sense, to paddle sports specifically, to tennis, to badminton, to other sports. So we're trying to really bridge the gap between the technology and existing business models, because I do think that there's so much space for the innovation in our space, in our domain, in tennis and sports. Because if you think about how we advance as humanity in the last 20 years, and none of this progress has ever been brought into sports, into tennis, to the extent where you can get a service from your house, right, like we all think about, DoorDash, Postmates, Uber Eats, other services. But when it comes to getting your rackets done, you still have to go to a local pro shop, which oftentimes they don't accept credit cards. It's like check only. It's so outdated in a sense that it doesn't accommodate any innovation. And I think that's our end goal here, is trying to bring our expertise in technology, trying to bring what we learned over the last decade into sports industry.
That's really exciting, I feel. And like now is the time where like all these small opportunities and pockets are really like bubbling up. Like, yeah, there's the introduction of Uber and stuff, but there's still like so much room for new implementations and like up and coming things where you can really make something special for someone to experience through technology, just through the app. Like
Right.
the evolution of the smartphone is crazy. Like what you can do today. Like it's
No,
what?
100%. I mean, like think of this. Even 15 years ago, would you even think that you'll be able to, I don't know, get get a cab through the app, or get your food delivered to your home through the app? I mean, it was basically unthinkable. And now it's like normal to get these services, and we're gonna see more and more of this opportunities. But I also do want to emphasize that even though it's all digital, it's all like technological, we we live in the real world, right? And it's important to like keep in mind like people who at the end of the day um, work on these platforms, like for example whether it's a food delivery or Amazon delivery, and in our case those people are stringers, right? And it's also not just an opportunity for our users to basically get some sort of service for their convenience. It's also an opportunity for independent stringers to get extra income, to find new customers, to connect with those customers. And up until now, there were not too many options for them, like in terms of like how to connect with those people. Like let's just think about it. If you're a stringer trying to get some business in LA area, how do you even go about advertising yourself? How do you find your clientele? How do you find those people? So I think our platform allows you to streamline this process so that you can sign up and you can find new clients, and if they like working with you, they're gonna come back. And that's actually another feature that we're gonna be adding in the upcoming months. So you'll be able to basically add your favorite stringers to your favorites, and you'll be able to get a recurrent service from them and leave tips to them, and it's good for both players and stringers at the same time.
That's awesome. I feel like also there's just such a cool opportunity to create like a community of tennis players, especially in Los Angeles, and just to create this little hub and just to not only empower stringers to earn some side money, but to just like create connection between people, which I think is kind of what's missing today, because we're not really allowed to do much, but like being able to enjoy something like an outdoor sport like such as tennis, and then like have an app where people can just have their strings restrung and someone delivers it, and just like meet someone new and foster a relationship through that way.
No, absolutely. I think it's especially relevant nowadays. And just like you said, tennis is a very good sport in terms of social distance, and it's a safe sport. It's outdoor sport, and it's safe for the family, safe for the community, and I think this is great if we can build something like that in the Los Angeles area and beyond that, so that we can connect with this community and get more people involved. I think that'd be huge.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I want to pivot and ask you, how do you balance like working, your main 9 to 5 job and then doing the stringer stuff on the side? If you could provide tips for
It all
people.
comes down to consistency and prioritization. So I have certain goals every day, no matter what. I want to try to achieve those goals in terms of, okay, if I'm working on the technology side, let's say I want to commit certain code every day, or let's say I'm working on marketing, I want to do something consistently every day so that over time there is an incremental progress. So it doesn't matter if it's the weekend, if it's like a normal day, like after work, I get to spend a couple of hours on this, no matter what happens. And this is very important because over time, I realized that this incremental steps, incremental progress, as I like to call it, it really adds up. And over time you'll be able to see like very good results moving forward. For example, just like with the iOS app that I built by myself in the early days of Stringr, I basically dedicated a couple of hours a day over the course of, I would say, 2 to 3 months, and I just built the app, right?
Mhm.
And if the thing is, if you don't do this consistently, you will kind of lose focus. And if you do a little bit every day, this will help you to achieve your goals in the long term.
Yeah. Um, That's funny that you bring up focus because I just got done listening to Cal Newport, who is he has a book that came out recently about the importance of focusing and how focus is probably the number one currency that you could sell to companies because people are so scattered today with like Slack emails coming through and just like Facebook messages, texting, Instagram, Twitter, it's all coming in at once. So I feel like to really develop a relationship with focus is just kind of a lost art for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many distractions right now, and it's hard to focus on your priorities. But I think it's very important. It's very important to keep your goals in mind, and also be honest with yourself, like set realistic goals, set realistic expectations, and it's okay if those are like small goals. It's totally fine, but it's very important to be honest with yourself and be realistic in a way. So obviously you want to go for a bigger goal, but also keep in mind your responsibilities, your daily schedule, and I mean it's very important. Uh, and I think if you try to set those goals for yourself and you try to make an incremental progress little by little, over time it really pays off.
yeah. Do you have a morning routine or ritual that you just do every single morning?
I usually try to work out in the morning. I think it really helps me to set the right tone for the rest of the day. Also, maybe I'm just a morning person, I don't know, but I think it's really helpful when you go work out and then immediately try to focus on the hard tasks in the first half of the day. Try to just knock them out, and then because like by the end of the day you kind of like losing focus in a way, and just like focusing on the more complicated task in the first half of the day really helps a lot in terms of like prioritization. Again, going back to priorities, you want to do first things first, like do things that matter the most. And so basically when you focus on the things in the first half of the day, that's like super beneficial to you. But also like keep in mind like the workouts, keep in mind the family and friends, and don't just like be in like little bubble. Like we live in the real world, and I think it's important to like also keep those things in mind.
Balance, balance, balance.
Exactly, yeah, it's very important.
How frequently do you play tennis?
Uh, not as frequent as I would like to, but I try to play at least 3 times a week.
Oh, that's great. I had another question that just escaped my mind, but here it came back. So you have a very interesting approach to life. Me knowing you for like maybe like 5 years now, I got to know a cool side of you, and I wanted to bring that side out for people to learn also. And what caught my attention is how you're just always learning. You or I think you know Dutch and you're learning Japanese. Could you like share
Sure.
a bit more about that side of you for
Right.
people?
Yeah.
Sorry to put you on blast.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, when it comes to learning languages, there's like a little passion of mine. What 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 I think interests me, well, and I again we could talk about it as well, but in terms of like learning in general, I think I try to dedicate a little bit of time on that part as well, because in a way that makes you a more complete person, just like learning new things and discovering the world around you.
Mm.
It's super important. And just try to for example like read a book every day, or try to maybe like learn a new language. That's super fulfilling. And it helps you in a way for your main job as well, because again, we live in the real world and it's all about the perspective. So you get to see how things are in the reality. And for example, when it comes to me learning new languages, it's an also a way for me to learn about the world. For example, you mentioned Japanese. Even though my Japanese skills are at the very beginner's level, but it's basically window into another culture, into another world. And just like learn this language, it opened up a lot about Japan, a lot about its culture, traditions, history. I mean, this is huge. I mean, if you don't speak Japanese, you don't get those like little details, little tiny things that are engraved in the culture. And so it's really a way to learn about the world, because at the end of the day, it's all about the journey. It's all about learning new things and using those things to create something new.
That was so beautifully said. I love that. And I I love that also you just said like learning those things to create something new. And in a way, I think those experiences that you have with the external world kind of help you enrich like building this app, for instance, because it gives you more of a perspective to build on.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's all about different perspectives and how you like synthesize them in a way. So like your perspective on technology, your perspective on facing a real problem in the tennis world, like you synthesize those two things and you get some sort of outcome. That's how it works in life. You learn something, and then you should not just like have a theory behind it, but it's also good to put it in use for a good cause. You can create a company, or you can, for instance, when it comes to learn new languages, I think it's very important to like make friends, for example, or go travel, go visit another place. So I feel like it's important to learn, but it's also important to have some sort of result from your learning.
Yeah,
And I think it's been very, very practical to me.
that's nice. What is your favorite part about Stringer?
The favorite part about Stringr is being able to connect with people, without stringers specifically, without users as well. It's really like you said about building the community. So we're building the service for the people, and we actually really appreciate any feedback, because we're obviously a young startup, so we're still at the beginning of our journey. And if you guys have any feedback for us, we will really really appreciate it. And in fact, you actually get to define the direction of our company, because based on your feedback, we're building this app, we're building this experience for you. So this is the most exciting part for me, to hear this feedback and to incorporate this feedback and to improve on our technology and our user experience.
Was there like a moment, this will be my last question. Was there like a moment where you're like, aha, yes, like I could actually see potential with this app, like really like doing something great?
Yes, there was a moment when I released our app to the App Store, was some time ago, and somebody placed an order, and that somebody was a person who I did not know. Because like you can tell your friends about it. For example, they can place an order, but as soon as somebody places an order, somehow they learned about our company. And it was the moment for me when I realized, okay, well, there are other people who might be actually using it, might be interested in our company. So that was a very very happy moment for me.
That's great. So my final question, what would you like to see more of in the world?
To like see in terms of The experience in terms of the technology or what?
Vision, just your vision, like for a better world.
Okay. I think the biggest passion of mine is obviously technology. And in a lot of instances right now, I see how technology has been misused in a way. And this is very, very unfortunate. So, for example, people are scared about AI. People are scared about the use of technology. But I think it's really important to understand that technology also brings a lot of good to our life as well. And I think it's important to appreciate those things as well, while also keeping in mind like what technology can do in terms of like bad things. But I feel like I'm pretty optimistic about the future overall. So I feel like in the next decades we'll see more and more services, more and more startups that are trying to bring a fresh new perspective into other industries, and that's really what excites me, and that's really what I'm hoping to see in the future.
I love that. So, where can people find you or Stringr? I know that there's a website, but if you could just share.
Yeah, so the best way to reach out to me personally is through my email, artem at stringr.pro. And I really appreciate any feedback that you might have. And we're happy to incorporate this feedback into our products. So um, you can also go to our website, stringr.pro. You can place an order online. I think right now we operate in Los Angeles area, but like I said, we try to expand into other areas as well. You can leave your email, and we'll be in touch with you when we start operating in your location. But you know, we're very very grateful for everybody who comes to our website and considers our services.
This is really exciting. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me, Artem. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, it was great.